And welcome back, Wolfpack. Today's lesson is volume and surface area of spheres. Today, you're going to be able to find the volume and surface area of spheres. Again, I ask you to please make sure you are on your best behavior for the sub. Do your very best. Make me proud. Make the school proud. You have two formulas at the top of your page. The first one is obviously a volume formula because it says V. And the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Pi r cubed. Radius is cubed because obviously we're dealing with 3 dimensions. Okay? So instead of pi r squared, we have pi r cubed times 4/3. And then SA is the surface area formula. And surface area is 4 pi r squared. 4 pi r squared, and radius is only squared because we're still dealing with area. Those are 2 formulas you'll need to know. Again, the reference sheet on the FSA does have a couple of formulas on it, but it doesn't exactly tell you which one is which. It just lists different formulas for you. I'm going to set up these problems, and then I want you to pause the video to work them out and come back and check your answers. Example number 1. Find the volume of the sphere. Leave the answer in terms of pi. Well, first thing you have to do is write the formula down. Volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Obviously, we need to know the radius. The diameter here is 6 feet. So the radius is half of that, which is 3 feet. I'm going to go back in, replace everything. 4/3 times pi times radius, which is 3 cubed. Okay, I want you to go ahead, pause this video on your calculator, plug in 3, cube it, multiply it by pi, multiply it by 4/3, and write your answer. And we're going to go, actually, I'm sorry, don't multiply it by pi because we're going to leave it in terms of pi. So 3 cubed times 4/3. Pause the video, write your answer. Okay, the answer is the volume equals 36 pi feet cubed. 3 cubed is 27 times 4 is 108. Divided by 3 gives you 36. So 36 pi feet cubed is the volume of a sphere with a diameter of 6. Let's move on to the next one. Example number 2. Find the volume of the composite figure round to the nearest cubic centimeter. So I can see here that I have a cone and I have half of a sphere. Okay, half of a sphere and a cone. So I'm going to just work on the left-hand side first. Write the formula for sphere down. Volume equals 4/3 pi radius cubed. Well, I'm going to end up needing half of that. So I'm going to rewrite it as the volume equals 1/2 times 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay? Or if you want to think about it as 4/3 pi r cubed, and you're dividing all that by 2, you can think about it that way as well. Okay? And we are going to go round to the nearest cubic centimeter for our final answer. Okay? So 1/2 times 4/3 times pi times radius. You can see that right here. The radius is 5. So on your calculator, I want you to plug all of that in. I'm going to work through that one with you. So 5 times 5 times 5 is 125 times pi looks something like 392.699, so on, times 4 divided by 3. So all I did just now is I plugged all of this part in on my calculator. 5 cubed times pi times 4/3. And I got 523.59875 and so on. Okay? And so what you're going to do now is you're going to divide that in half because you need half the sphere. And when I write that out, I'm going to just double check that I got that correct. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times pi times 4 divided by 3. Yes. So I'm going to cut that in half because I need half of that. And half of that is 261.799 and 4. The 8 tells the 3 to become a 4. So as you can see, I'm writing it out the 4 digits, but at the end, I'm going to round to the nearest cubic centimeter, okay? So that's the volume of half the sphere. So again, it's the sphere formula, and then after I found the volume of the sphere, I cut it in half because I was finding half the sphere. Okay. Now moving on to the volume of the cone. Hopefully you have your notes from the last class when we did this. Volume of a cone is 1/3 base times height. So 1/3 pi r squared times height. 1/3 pi times the radius is the same, 5 squared times height. Now, they gave us a height of 13. That's not the real height, that's the slant height. So we're going to come down here, scroll down, and we have to find the real height using the Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know that this is 5. I am not sure what this is. That's what I'm looking for, the real height of the cone. So I'm going to leave that as b squared equals c squared, which is 13 squared. 25 plus b squared equals 169. B squared equals 144. I don't need b squared, I need b, so b equals 12. Going back up to my problem, that means our height is 12. So times 12. And I ran out of space, so I wrote a really small right there. So now I'm going to plug it in on the calculator. Again, you should have had the volume formula out and ready. That's from your last notes. So that we knew. We knew all of this. We had to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the height, because I know it's not 13, because 13 is the slant height. Okay? So now I have it, and it's 12. And now I'm going to take everything and work it out on my calculator. So I'm going to do 5 squared, which is 25, times pi. I'm working inside of the parentheses first. That gives me 78.5398, so on. Then I'm going to multiply that by 12. Gives me 942.477, so on. Then I'm going to multiply it by 1/3, which is the same thing as dividing by 3. And when I divide by 3, I get 314. Oh, let me change that out. 314.1592, so on. 1592. And actually, that would round to a 3. 1593. Okay. I'm just going to double check that I did that correctly. 5 squared times pi times 12 divided by 3. And yes, it does. Okay. Okay, so that's the volume of the cone. So now what are you going to do with those? Well, you're going to take them and you're going to add them together. So the volume of the sphere was 261.7994, and the volume of the cone was 314.1593. You're going to add them together. So you're going to take those, add them together, please, and write your answer. And when you add those two together, you get 575.9587. Rounded to the nearest cubic centimeter, which means the nice whole number, you get 576 cubic centimeters. So yes, this problem had 3 steps, but are you capable of doing all of them? You are. You are. All we have to do is we found the volume, and then cut it in half, and then found the volume of the cone, and then we added them together for our final answer. Okay, you are capable. I have faith in you. Example number 3, find the surface area of the sphere, and you're going to leave the answer in terms of pi. So we need to write the surface area formula this time. Surface area equals 4 pi r squared. Again, radius is squared, because we're talking about area here. You're simply plugging numbers in. 4 times pi times the radius, which is 4 in this case, squared. Go ahead and please find the answer, leave it in terms of pi, and write it down on your paper. So pause this video, work out the problem, write the answer in terms of pi on your paper. The answer is 64 pi yards squared. 4 squared is 16, times 4 is 64, so 64 pi yards squared is the surface area of that sphere. Example number 4. A sphere has the volume of 288 feet cubed. Find its surface area and leave the answer in terms of pi. Well, in order to find the surface area of something, I need the radius, okay? Because 4, they give me pi, I know I need the radius. I don't have the radius of this one, but I can find the radius because they gave me the volume. Volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So we're going to plug in everything we know in order to be able to find the radius. So the volume is 288 pi equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay? I'm going to get rid of everything that I can in order to get the radius by itself, since that's what I need. Okay? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by pi. And by dividing both sides by pi, I quickly just get 288 equals 4/3 radius cubed. Okay? Divided the right side by pi, divided the left side by pi. Got rid of it. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/4. And I'm doing that so that way I can get the radius by itself. When I do that, this side cancels. And 288 times 3 divided by 4, so 288 times 3/4 gives us 216. So now I have 216 equals radius cubed. Now I'm not just looking for the radius, I'm looking for the cubed root of the radius, okay? So the number that multiplied by itself 3 times gives me the answer. So what you're going to do is take your calculator. You have 216 on your calculator. You're going to find the cubed root of it. So if you look up at, if you look down at the 0 button, above the 0 button, it has the writing of 3. The cube root of x. Okay, that's above the 0 button. So you have 216 on your calculator. Press the second button and then 0. And you're going to get the number 6. So 216 to the cubed root is 6. So the radius is 6. And you can check that by saying, well, is 6 cubed or 6 times 6 times 6, 216? And sure enough, it is. Okay, so that was the hardest part. You have 216. Hit those buttons on your calculator, second 0, and you'll find that the cubed root of 216 is the number 6. So now we have the radius. So I'm going to come back here, 4 times pi times radius, which is 6 squared. Okay? Go ahead and multiply all of that out together, and you're going to leave it in terms of pi. Pause this video, and please write your answer in terms of pi. Okay, the answer is 144 pi feet squared. It's squared because we're talking about surface area, the area of the outside surface of that sphere. Okay, 2 more problems, guys. Try, you're going to do the same exact thing. A sphere has the volume of 972 meters cubed. Find its surface area and leave the answer in terms of pi. So again, surface area means we have 4 pi r squared. We need the radius, which we do not have. However, they gave us the volume, so I can work backwards with the volume to find the radius. Okay, the volume is 972. Sorry, and that actually should have a pi there. Your notes have that. For some reason, this does not. So the volume is actually 972 pi, which I apologize. Your notes show it correctly. Your paper notes, the notes here on the board do not. So 972 pi equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And just like the last problem, I'm going to divide by pi to get rid of it. So I have 972 equals 4/3 radius cubed. Okay? I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/4 in order to get r cubed by itself. And by doing that, I get 729 equals radius cubed. So you're looking for the cubed root of 729. So you're going to go back to your calculator, 729, okay? You're going to hit second, 0, and it should give you the number 9. So the radius of this sphere is 9. Now you can come back to your surface area formula and plug everything in. Go ahead and plug it in, leave it in terms of pi, and write your answer. Hopefully you got 324 meters squared. 9 squared is 81 times 4. So, I'm sorry, 324 pi meters squared. 324 pi meters squared. There we go. Much better. Okay. Last problem. Find the surface area of the sphere. Leave it in terms of pi. So, for surface area, again, you need 4 pi r squared, so you have to know the radius. They gave you the area of a cross section. So they're saying, if I were to cut it in half right here, what would the area of that flat circle be? Well, they gave it to you, so now you have to figure out what the radius is from that. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. They told you that the area of that circle was 81 pi. So 81 pi equals pi r squared. Again, I'm going to divide by pi and start getting radius by itself. That gives me 81 equals radius squared. Okay? So again, we're looking for the area of this circle. They gave it to us, so we can use that area to find the radius. Okay? Area equals pi r squared. We plugged in 81 pi for the area. We divided by pi to get those pi's gone. So what is the square root of 81? What squared gives you 81? Well, the radius is 9. So you should be able to come over here, plug everything in, and get the answer. And go ahead, write the answer down, please. And similar to the last problem we just did, the surface area of that sphere also is 324 pi inches squared. I hope this makes sense, guys. I appreciate you working so diligently to get this done while I'm gone. The two formulas you're going to have to know are volume of sphere and surface area of sphere. So volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Surface area is 4 pi r squared. Again, they will show up on the reference sheet, but they're not just going to say, oh, use this sphere equation, use this cone equation. So you're going to have to know those, okay? But they're not very difficult. It's more likely they're going to give you problems where, like that last one we just did, where they gave you the area and you had to use that area to find the radius and so on, okay? So you're more than capable of doing it. It's step by step. And getting them done. Please make sure you write a summary at the bottom of your paper. So if you have your bell work video done and your notes video done, you should have about 40 minutes or so to work on your project. Have a great day, and I'll see you next class. Have a great weekend. Be safe, be legal, be moral, be ethical, and I'll see you on Tuesday.